All right. Well, good evening and welcome to Chattin with Chet Miller. I am Chet. If you are a new listener, thanks for listening and welcome to the show. Um, yeah, that was a rough intro for me. Actually, that was my third time starting. I get nervous. This is why, like, when I have a guest, you'll hear me just we're already in the middle of a conversation. Otherwise, for some reason, I just kind of get all weird at the beginning. And, anyways, it is what it is. I'm better in a meeting. You guys do that? Do any of my listeners? I'm curious if any of you guys actually, um, like present in meetings. I assume quite a few of you do, just based on knowing a lot of you. Oh, my microphone fell. I'll fix that real quick. Sorry about that. Anyways, so that's kind of how I start my show. Um, I had a really great guest. His name is Will. He's like my brother from another mother. He was on. We talked for 2 hours and 21 minutes. I was going to split it into two episodes, and unfortunately, I had some upload issues with the sound recording. It cut out like the last 2 hours for some reason. Um, Anyways, I have an open technical ticket. I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with that, but I have one open with the studio that I record with, and hopefully they get it fixed. Because if not, that was a lot of really good content. We had a really great conversation. He's certainly like he has this incredible memory about a lot of stuff. He has what he says. He has so much useless information, and it's very true. He does, but it's also very useful at various points and times in my life. Um, Anyways, he even told a story about that with my brother, and that was pretty funny. Um, Hopefully, I can get that recovered and play it. If not, I will absolutely have him on again, and we'll just chat. That's what we do, conversation. Anyways, if almost anybody listening, if you guys want to come on, I'm pretty much open to most people to come on and hang out and talk. I have quite a few, well, a few, not quite a few. I have a few upcoming guests I've talked with that are, I'm not going to say want to, a couple want to, but most of the time they're willing to. I find out that a lot of people really don't want to come on, or they think that they don't have a lot to talk about or share. And it's fine you think that, but I disagree. I think everybody has a story. And yeah, I'm talking to whoever you are listening right now. I bet you have a story to share. If you haven't already, some of my past guests, I'm sure I'll have on again, time and again. But tonight, I'm just going to talk for a bit. I'm going to ramble about things that are on my mind, things I may not get to talk about with some other, some of my guests I have on, just because I like to focus on them for the most part. Um, but yeah, that's kind of what I'm doing tonight. So, first thing I guess I really want to talk about is I think I noticed or saw that I'm averaging like 50 to 60 listeners per episode, if not more. Or I would say it's an average. Yeah, that's how that works. It's an average of 50 to 60 listeners so far. Not a big group, but hey, I really appreciate everybody that listens. If you want to give a share, give a share. If you have anybody that you think would be interesting for me to talk with, it doesn't matter if they're local or not. I can do virtual meetings, like wherever they are. I've done it with my brother, my nephew, the comedian he was on. So it was pretty cool. So yeah, just hit me up, let me know. So I appreciate everybody that listens, and hopefully this kind of takes off a bit. It's kind of fun. I'm having a really good time. I really enjoy talking to people, and I think you all have wonderful stories and are just interesting. You guys all lead these awesome lives, and I love that you share it with me. So thank you for that, and my listeners. I like that you share it with them too. All right, what should we talk about first? All right, you know what? I'll talk about last week, and I did talk about this with Will. I'm going to talk about it now, and if you hear me talk with Will, you'll hear a bit about my trip out to Charlotte last week. No, not last week. The week before, 2 weeks ago. Man, this keeps messing up here. And the problem is now I can't, for some reason, I can't pause this. While I record, I used to be able to pause, and I can't pause this anymore. So I don't know. I'm definitely either going to find a new recording studio, or I'll have to upgrade to the better package. That way, maybe my recordings are better. Who knows? But yeah, I had a trip out to Charlotte last 2 weeks ago. It was a work trip, and I don't know if you've ever been out to Charlotte. It was my first time. It was interesting, in good ways and some bad. I will say I was not looking forward to my work trip. As if you listen to this, you know I had some, we'll say, work turmoil going on. I still kind of do, I think, um, and it was really nerve wracking, honestly, going out there. It was like, oh my gosh, I have to, one, face all these people and talk to them who I talk to quite often on meetings and everything, but we don't work face to face. So it's weird. In my line of business, you actually work a lot more with people in a different site and or different country for that matter than you do in your own office. So it's interesting. And there's good things and there's bad things about it. Um, so a little bit, let's talk about working remote or working from home. Because a lot of you want to work from home. It's so amazing. It's so great. And a lot of you don't want to work from home. I would say most of you probably do want to work from home. And let's be honest, it's nice. It is really nice working from home. It can be a bit more relaxing. Although me, I tend to jump on a little earlier when I work from home. I tend to work later because I don't have the commute. So technically, I work longer. Are there more distractions at home? Mm, probably. I would say so. But I don't really multitask very often. Maybe if my workday is slower, I may do a load of laundry or something like that. I guess I don't know. There's so much I have to get done at work, so I don't really think about it. When I take like a break or lunch, then maybe I do something. So, and I know it sounds like I'm rambling, or maybe I am, but that's really how it is working from home. It's pretty chill. I have two dogs and two cats. They don't keep me company at all. They Sometimes they come down and they're like, "Hey, what's going on?" and then they leave. So, but it's still, I don't know. It's sometimes it's way too quiet because again, there's nobody here. So me personally, I have to listen to music or podcasts. I listen to a lot of podcasts. Um, Something I have to listen to something. Um, because for me, I need that background noise. If it gets too quiet, I'm like, holy crap! Like, what's going on? And almost scares the crap out of me. So, but yeah, I mean, obviously, this is about me, and it's my podcast. So, maybe this is what you guys want to hear. I don't know. I hope you enjoy what I'm talking about right now. Um, and I am curious. Those of you that do work from home, what are your thoughts? Throw some comments in there or just let me know. It's very interesting, I think, how everyone's different take on the work from home versus work in the office. It's just, I don't know. There are benefits to working in the office. It's easier to resource, I'll tell you that. I mean, I'm definitely a talkative person by nature, as you can probably tell. So me meeting people in the office is not difficult at all. I think meeting people virtually in meetings, that's kind of tough, I think. I don't know. I think it's definitely, for me, it is. I think for me, it's harder um, to meet virtually. I think for most people, it probably is. But I don't know. Let me know your thoughts. I'm kind of curious. The other thing about working in the office is, okay, you don't have the distractions from home, right? You have, what do you have? You have meetings in office. No, I don't have meetings in office. Mine are all virtual still. I don't have to participate in on-site activities because most of it deals with other departments. My department is small in my office, so like it's me and people that don't know each other. So I don't really have to go participate in that. I do some of the on-site stuff I like to deal with or go to, but there's a lot of times where I have meetings or other crap, and I'm dealing with that. So I don't know. I don't mind working in the office though. I just like talking to people as well, and I still again listen to podcasts and music and everything because even in the office it gets too quiet. There's so many people that come up to me and they're like, "Oh my gosh, you have such a nice desk." By the way, I still don't have a desk. We have what's called neighborhood seating. You guys want to know what neighborhood seating is? It is where you and F you to some of you people are like, no, I don't. Well, too bad. No, neighborhood seating is essentially you have where your work group can sit, and anybody can sit in any desk in any given day. So people still try to claim a desk. I don't do that because I just don't care. I don't bring any personal effects to work except for, what's in my backpack. So give me a desk, don't give me a desk. I don't really care. I'll sit wherever there is an open desk. But other people really tend to get miffed when they come in and you're sitting in their desk. Whatever. I'll still do it. But at the same time, if they do get upset, I tend to not sit there again. So I've already been kicked out of 3 different areas, and I'm like, whatever. I just it's entertaining to me at this point. Yeah, so I do like meeting people in the office. I think it's pretty fun. Just getting to know some of the people, even if they're not in the same group. Most of the people I meet are not in the same group. But I'm not saying I want to be in my current job role for the rest of my career. I don't even know if I want to be what I currently do for the rest of my career and life. You guys ever think about that? Sorry, I had to wipe something off. My water is letting lots of condensation off, and I'm getting it all over my mouse pad. But you guys ever find yourself at a point in life where you're like, yeah, I think I'm done with that job. That job kind of sucks. And I'm not saying my job sucks. I don't think it sucks at all. I think it's actually a very cool job. I just this year definitely burned me a little bit. And maybe that's true. Maybe some work years kick your ass more than others. And this definitely was a year that kicked my ass, work wise. It was rough, and it did bleed into my personal life a bit, and that sucks too. It was not what I would call a very successful career year, if that I don't know if that makes sense. Just feels like I got crapped on the whole time, and it feels like I got set up to as a fall guy. So we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the early next year goes. But whatever, more to come on that, I guess. Especially if I do become the fall guy, yeah, then you're gonna hear a lot. But let's hope that doesn't happen because I don't want that to happen. Let's see. I will say, my job, we are dealing with a lot more AI these days. I think that's always fun, and you guys know I like to talk AI, so let's talk a bit of AI, shall we? What do you guys use AI for at work? Let's say me, I can help it with my emails. I can use because I use it as a tool. I try to use our AI tools for exactly that, just a tool. I don't get it to try to do my job for me because I know what the result is supposed to look like and I know how to get to it. Sometimes the AI tool will just do it a bit quicker, or use more of the jargon. Not jargon. Jargon is actually really what I use. That's maybe it. Maybe it takes out the jargon that I use and it still uses the vocabulary that I should be using. Because once you're in your career for a little while, or your job, whether it is your career or not, let's just say you're here to their job, right? It's your next stage in life, like to get you to your next stage job, right? You still start speaking a little jargon with that job, no matter what it is. And I notice, especially when I write, whether it's like procedure related or control related things, it's you literally you not that maybe shortcut, maybe that's what it is, because you know how it gets there, and so you're not putting enough quite that detail. So I noticed that the AI writing does polish my writing. So, and maybe everybody doesn't need it, and maybe I don't. I mean, there's a lot of emails where I'll ask it and it says this is a good professional sounding email, and it barely, if any, gives any type of feedback. So there you go. Maybe my email writing is solid. Yay me. Um, anyways, so that's kind of what I use it for at work. I'm sure there's a lot more that I can be and will be very soon based on other what do you want to call it, notifications that have come down. There's a lot that you know the place I work for, they are looking to automate as much as they can, and I don't know, is that something they should be doing? I guess if you're an investor of the company and you want to make more money, yeah, probably. I don't know. I mean, I think I worry about what happens to the worker, the human element. I I don't know. It's what are all those the people that'll be laid off? Because that's kind of how it is right now with the jobs, at least that I'm familiar with my career. There's a lot that AI is kind of like taking over. It's automating and saying, hey, like we can do this and it does this and does that. That's good, and it probably does it more efficiently. And honestly, probably can do it because it can cut out. I don't know, maybe it can't. Okay, can it cut? Can it stay black and white? Because I think the job that a lot of us have may have gray in it. How does it do in the gray? I'm kind of curious. And I think feedback I've heard on where AI does have its flaws, flaws. I don't know. Is where you have to be very specific about what you're asking it, and which is funny because that kind of goes in right with what I was going to talk about for AI. Um, it's like, what is it? My question is this here, and I wrote this down. See, I take lots and lots of notes as the week goes on. Just things I think about that I think is interesting, and I hope you guys do too. So let me get to it. Okay, how long does it take AI to adopt to your speech or dialect? Like, let's say I'm using microphone, kind of like this, right? And AI is picking up on it. How long does it take AI to adapt to that? Your speech patterns, and let's say I'm typing, will it start becoming adept to my typing patterns? I bet it does. I completely imagine it does, and I imagine that's how I've talked about the quote unquote romantic AI relationships that people are trying to have, whatever you want to call it. It's maybe that's how. Maybe it's becoming adept to what the user is putting out there. So you're like, nope, that's not what I'm looking for, and you ask it a different question or ask it a different way, and so then it's like, oh, okay, this is what it was asking with that type of jargon, whatever. I don't know, you guys ever watch Atlas? That one, I think it was a Netflix movie with Jennifer Lopez, J Lo, I think, a few years back, from what I remember. Anyways, she think of like Neuralink, I think, where it like plugs in behind your, the back of your ear, and it essentially you become instantly connected to like this AI mind bot, whatever they are, whatever you want to call them. We'll call them a bot, right? An AI bot. Okay, that sounds good. If I'm wrong on that, somebody want to correct me, by all means. You're not calling the AI bot the right thing, right? Anyways, so yeah, you essentially link up, and it has to be able to completely kind of like meld with your innermost thoughts and everything to understand what you want and your like how you move and how you act. And so I'm wondering if that's kind of what this is doing, but more on granular, speech or typing type level. So just takes a lot longer. I don't know. It's interesting. See things I think about. What keeps you up at night? Boy, that question could get everybody in a load of trouble, doesn't it? Uh-huh. How do you guys fall asleep? I am curious. I There are some times where if it's too quiet, my mind just will not shut off. And that's where like, yep, let me put the TV on for a little bit. Just like even the light just kind of like quiets the mind a little bit sometimes. Some of you are like, what are you talking about? Just turn off the lights and go to bed. Stupid. And good for you if any of you guys can do that. Sometimes, very, very rarely, sometimes I can do that, but it doesn't happen very often. All right. What else do I have about AI? All right. I mean, we talked about some of that before. I'll kind of wait. I'll wait until I have another guest on for that. I like to save some of that, and you know me. I like to have AI on each of my podcasts, so I can always keep it for another day. All right, so Charlotte trip. Let's talk about my Charlotte trip a bit. That was so I went out there for work. It was a bit uncomfortable meeting everybody face to face. It was wow, boy. You see, I got way off on that tangent, huh? But yeah, meeting everybody face to face. It was really cool though. I mean, these people I work with are so smart. Um, I mean, just what we deal with, um, with I think I can say it. It's with data management. Um, it's crazy. It's crazy interesting. I mean, one of the guys I work with has. I was talking to Will about this, but he has a. I think it's called idyllic. I even asked my one of my other friends. I think it's called idyllic. I was saying idyllic, but I think it's called an idyllic type of a memory, um, if not a photographic memory. And man, what that must be like to have that kind of memory. I am nothing like that at all. I can remember movies, or I used to be able to. I don't know if I still can, just because I kind of got out of the care factor. I didn't care about movies as much. Sorry. Um, Music, not really. I have a lot of friends that can with music. No, I'm not one of them. I love music, but once it comes to start naming the artist, I'm like, oh crap. Like I know the song, I can sing the song, like I'm all great with that. But until you start telling me, I mean, there's times where I'll know the artist, but uh, I can own in on it pretty quick. So yeah, that's how I am. But meeting these people, it was interesting. So we went out. Um, we stayed at different hotels. We had relatively three that we could have chosen from. I stayed at the Omni in Uptown Charlotte. They call it Uptown, not downtown, by the way, if anybody cares. So that's kind of fun. Um, and at the Omni, there were six of us, Omni Legends. That's right. Shout out to the Omni Legends. If they ever listen to this, that would be entertaining. They were fun. I will tell you, it was a lot of fun. I think I want to call it fate. I don't know, but it brought us together. We all made our decision. We all ended up at that hotel and rented a minivan. It was a nice minivan, actually. It was a Chrysler Pacifica. So shout out to that. Very different. Well, it was similar to the one we rented way back when in the summer when I told you we went out to the East Coast, my family. But this one was in better condition. So it was cool though. It was nice. It was just the morning and afternoon commute. It was cool. It was we chatted and just got along. It was fun. Um, and I'll tell you what, meeting everybody face to face was, I mean, man, it was scary at first because everyone's like, "Are you that person that I see?" Because we don't do a lot of video calls. Maybe we should now, since we're kind of getting, I don't know, to know each other. Maybe we should. Maybe we should have before. I always kind of thought we should, but nobody ever did. And let's see the activities. Well, we went out to a, what do you call it? A brewery. One of those small brewery restaurants. They had good food. That was good, and I'd tell you who they are, but I totally am blanking. But they were good. Uh, I'll keep talking, and if I find it, I'll let you guys know. But they had good pizza, just good food, man. I always like places like that. Oh, it was called Heist Brewery Barrel Arts. There you go, in Charlotte. That was a good one. They were. I'd go back for sure. I would definitely go back to them. And then the next night we went out for, it was an activity night, and it was this really really cool place where they have like challenge rooms, just a bunch of rooms, and you earn points on if you and your team finish the challenge of that room. And if not, you go back and you can re-enter the room at a later time. My team, we had a lot of fun, but we we were miserable. We were terrible at it, but it was cool. And Thursday night, we just kind of did our own things and grabbed dinner. Some of us grabbed dinners as groups. Shout out to Chad and Hector if they ever listen to this. Yeah, we went out to the French District for a couple beers, and then we went and eat at this Brazilian steakhouse. It was like the Chimmy Steakhouse or something like that. It was good. Yeah, you guys ever go to a Brazilian steakhouse? They bring like the meat out on a skewer, and everything was cooked real well. It was good. They even had this like pineapple with this honey and cinnamon drizzle over it. Then they grilled it and they cut you that off. And man, it was right on point. I would absolutely go back to that one too. So yeah, it was overall. I mean, there's a homeless population in Charlotte or uptown Charlotte, and I think like a lot of big cities, there's always going to be a homeless population, and there are people too. So treat them with respect and maybe keep a distance, and I think you're good. Um, none of them really, none of them bothered me or anything. So I don't know, whatever. Um, it was cool. It was a good time. Yeah. And then they had these pianos spread out throughout uptown Charlotte, and you could just go and play it. So on Thursday night, after it was kind of later, I just kind of walked around, and it had rained earlier in the night, but I played one of the pianos that was severely off tune, but it was fun. I appreciated that. So I will say Thursday night definitely, it made up for what I wanted or was hoping Charlotte would be, and overall I would say it was a decent, successful trip to Charlotte. I'd go back. Airline was American, and I didn't have any complaints on the airline. I thought it was all right. I was very exhausted on Friday. When I got back to the airport, I will definitely tell you the 3 hours difference kicked my ass, and I think I was so excited to come home on Friday. I couldn't sleep on Thursday. You know how that is, like the night before your flight. Like, I'm ready to get home. I'm ready to get home, or I'm ready to get wherever you're going, and I just couldn't sleep. Um, so it was Friday. Friday was rough. I was very, very exhausted. By the time we got to the airport, I was ready to crash. I was ready to be home. I was just ready to, I say crash airport, haha. I was ready to fall asleep. I mean, I was just ready to hit the bed. And the plan was to come home and watch a movie with the family. I was going to get some sleep on the airplane. And I did. I definitely didn't get enough. I was very, very tired and exhausted, which kind of made me cranky. And I went to bed at like 9:15 on Friday night, Arizona time, and it was the earliest I think I've gone to bed in a long, long time. But it was fun. It was cool. Um, yeah. Oh, I will tell you this: on my flight back, I sat kind of next to. So I chose the last row, back way in the back of the plane, by a window seat. That way I could just chill out and not be bothered by anything. And it was a perfect idea, by the way. And I ended up the lady next to me. She just had the most positive energy about her. She was so nice. She helped this sweet little older lady that came on after I'd gotten in my seat. The sweet little older lady came and she was, picking up her carry on to put up in the overhead. And the lady she was like, "Oh, can I help you with that?" And she got up and put it right up. It was interesting. It was cool. I was like, "Wow, you got a really good energy about you. Good for you." So I don't know. There's other people like that out there, and I appreciate that. Um, yeah. So good trip overall, and that's enough about Charlotte. Let's see, what else do I have here? I actually have quite a lot. So I went to. Okay, I have a question about pastors. And that's a really good question because it leads into my couple of notes I took down on church on Sunday. So I'm going to get to that. But I want to tell you, okay. Have you known or been friends with any good pastors or preachers or whatever religion you are, right? So I'm curious what it's like to be friends with, maybe. I think that's where my curiosity was when I wrote that down. Because I think that sorry, I'm very fidgety right now because I'm thirsty. If anybody sees me moving around, those that are just listening, they're like, no, can't see that you're fidgety. Thanks. But I'm curious, when you're friends with a pastor, I'll say, right? Do you try to act better when you hang out with them? Or are you just your normal self because, they shouldn't be judging you? Um, as you shouldn't be judging them. I mean, right? Same thing. So I don't know. I wondered about that. I was like, it's got to be it's got to be a difficult career. I think it would be. I mean, you got to think that you have a hard time holding yourself up to those standards, and then you got to think a lot of the congregation is you. Hopefully they don't, but a lot of them probably judge you, right? I don't know. I don't really. I don't really know if a pastor, or preacher, or whatever should be held to any higher standards than you are. I don't know how that goes. I'm kind of curious. If anybody has any thoughts on that, I would love some thoughts because I don't know. Maybe I'll bring that up to whoever the next guest I have on. Yeah, it's a fun question, fun thought. Yeah, went down the rabbit hole on that one a little bit, but yeah, on Sunday it was it was a very good service. Okay, here I'm going to tell you guys a little story about church, since I'm talking about me and I can do that. So I went to church before the family camping trip. Remember, about a month ago or whatever it was now. I went on a big family camping trip. In case anybody didn't or hasn't listened to that, I talked about it. I've talked about it with a couple of different guests. It's a yearly thing I do, or we do, a bunch of us. And the weekend before we went, my pastor got a call that Sunday. He had friends up in Prescott where their son had died. He had drowned, and apparently, I thought he said like 5 years, 7 years, something like that. Previously, that same couple had a daughter that had drowned, I don't know how. I don't know the circumstances of that one. I know the son was, I think they said 25 this last weekend when we were there. Anyway, when I was camping, I thought it was very interesting. There's a big group of us that go camping, right? And there's part of our group kind of splits off into their own like small little family thing sometimes, and they'll have their own fire and whatever going. They still come and hang out for a while, and just that's what we do. So I actually went up to their fire. I went up there, I think each night I was there. And so shout out if any of y'all are listening. Bree, Willie, and I'm gonna say all the kids, maybe we'll go with that. Shout out to you all. What I found interesting is I was talking to them, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we heard about that. That was in our community, da da da." And the whole community, like they were just talking about how the whole community rallied behind this family. And I thought it was, I mean, how do you not, right? I mean, that's just a terrible and sad story. Um, but it was so interesting to hear about it. And then I hadn't been to church since the following weekend or whatever, or this past weekend, and talked about it again. And that's where he basically gave the rest of the story about how the 25-year-old boy or guy had drowned. And it was a sad story. It was very sad. And I don't know. It was interesting. It's tough. Like as a parent, that's one of the things you worry about most, right? And man, it sucks. And then to have two, that's even harder. I don't know. It's tough stuff. The world is not easy. That's for sure. It does not mean that there's not God. And I know there's some of you out there that are probably struggling right now. I mean, shoot, I think a lot of us struggle every day, right? What's his name? Jelly Roll. Jelly Roll sings a song about it. A lot of somebody save me. Sorry. There's my singing. So, what do you guys think of the power of threes? I just thought that was interesting when I was younger. And I have a long story, and I'm not going to go into it now, but things used to happen in threes. When I always remember when I was younger, I was like, oh, there's a three. Oh, there's a three. And it just kind of kept going. Oh, I need to plug my computer, and I thought I plugged it in, but apparently I did not. All right. Sorry. Welcome back. I had a bit of a technical difficulty there, and I am my only producer, so that's all me doing it. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah, power of threes. That's what it used to happen. And we kind of talked about it in church this past weekend. What was it? It was, yeah, see, now I can't even remember. But I wrote down the power of threes, so I thought it was something important. But something else I thought was interesting. You never see a generous person that isn't joyful? Isn't that something? I think that's true. Like a generous person, they always have like that joy about them. I think that's true. I like that. Okay, here's one for you. 35,000 decisions a day. That's how much the average person makes a decision. End of the day, you get decision fatigue or tired, right? You just get tired. And you're like, oh my gosh. You guys remember that? Nothing good or no good decisions come after midnight. There's one for all you younger ones. All of us older ones were like, yeah, we know that. No good decisions come after midnight. It's probably true. There's probably some truth to that. A few, but not many good decisions. That's fun. So I don't know what you guys talk about in church, do any of you guys take notes in church? I'm kind of dorky that way. All right. Okay. A Cheez-It nightclub opened for the weekend, just this past weekend. Like they were only open for a weekend. And I thought it was interesting just to like what they had in it. They called it, what was it? Studio Cheese. Studio Cheese. I'm sure if my daughters knew about it, they would have been like, "Oh, Dad, can we go?" No, we're not going to go to Studio Cheese. Maybe if they had those pop up trailer ones, but they made it more kid friendly instead of having it open till 2 a.m. Um, maybe then I'd take them. I don't know. I thought that's funny though. Studio Cheese, kind of dumb, kind of fun. What kind of nightclub would you like? Just a random nightclub would you go to for a weekend? Oh man, I think I'd go to a good Halloween nightclub. I mean, you go to Halloween parties, right? But it'd be kind of fun just to go to the occasional like dress up nightclub. Or maybe that's creepy. Hmm. Oh, that kind of rides a fine line, doesn't it? A little creepy, a little not. Kind of mysterious sometimes. That's kind of fun. Hmm. I don't know. Let's see. I've been out on a Halloween, and it was fun. It was a lot of fun, and I've gone to quite a few Halloween parties as an adult, and those are always fun. I would go. I wouldn't go every night or every weekend by any means, but I think I'd go. Everybody would have to know, like, oh yeah, hey, you're going to that the Halloween nightclub, aren't you? So you could do like, or maybe even not a Halloween nightclub, maybe it's like a themed nightclub. Oh, you know what? I'm going to stop talking about this. I'm going to meet with an investor. That's right. It's my idea. I was like, no, too bad. I'm taking your idea. Probably. All right. Let's see what else. Ooh, so I was flying, right? What's plane etiquette, or what is the window etiquette? I talked to Will about this too. So if you hear it on there too, you're going to hear it 2 times. But I was very curious because when I went out, I had two windows right by me. I again sat by the window because I was planning on taking a nap. And I had two windows. Like one was right at the end of the seat in front of me, and then one right before, like where my face was. So technically, in my opinion, they're both kind of my windows. Um, the guy in front of me said he didn't care if I had them open or not, and there was nobody behind me. So I enjoy the flight. I enjoy looking out the window. I enjoy, what's passing down below. I enjoy the sights. I left them open. It was daytime. It was evening when we landed. I don't really know the etiquette on that one. Um, quite honestly, I asked, so I didn't care at that point. He could have said something. On the way back, I I only had one, and it was kind of towards like here, so it was still technically my window. And the lady behind me, I was like, hey, I was like, do you care if the window's open or closed? And she said, oh, I don't care. And I was like, okay. And it was pretty bright outside. And then she's like, hey, you know what? I'm going to take a nap. Can you close that? I was like, yeah, no problem. And I closed it because I was napping too. So I am kind of curious. Etiquette with plain windows. I think really just kind of be a cool person. You know what I mean? Like, hey, somebody wants the window closed, close it. If they're like, hey, can you open that so I can see outside? Great. I don't really think you don't have to fight over it. I've seen videos about this, and that's why I'm asking. All of you are like, plain window etiquette? Hey, maybe we all watch the same video, or maybe only some of us do. I thought it was interesting, though. Plain window etiquette. Yep. All right, what else do I got? Where else did my thoughts lead me? Yeah, okay, well, why not? Shania Twain performed in a bikini. And then she had she had a cowgirl hat on and a full length coat. I don't remember what the coat was. Could have been like fake fur. Could have been, I don't know. Maybe it wasn't even fur at all. I don't remember. And I can't remember how old Shania Twain is now. I don't really think that's important. Um, I thought it was weird performing in a bikini. I don't know why. Um, I didn't really care. I mean, if she can still sing or still perform and people are paying tickets and she's doing a good job, then good for her. I don't know. I thought it was kind of weird, but whatever. I'm probably not going to go see Shania Twain. So I still thought it was interesting enough to bring up for some reason. Maybe I did think it was weird. I was like, huh. I guess I would not think Shania Twain's in a bikini anymore, but maybe. Okay. In a few months, Australia is going to require digital ID in Australia. Yeah, digital ID in Australia. I haven't looked up this story yet, but I think it's kind of bullshit. Like digital ID, and I'm sorry to swear, I really am. But how are you going to require digital ID? Like, dude, yeah, that's going like you guys are starting down a bad path. That's just a shitty path. Like, okay, I'm just going to put this out there. If any of you think that putting a sorry, I'm putting my vitamin drink down. If anybody think that putting a digital chip in under your skin is a good idea, it's not. It's a terrible, terrible idea. Okay, whether you're young, old, I don't care what age you are. If you're listening to this, if you should not allow anybody to put a digital chip under your hand. Okay, that's my thought. If you have some type of medical reason for it, like Neuralink or whatever, you're trying to fix your spine or something like that. Great. You want to do it for a heart pacemaker? Fine. For your financial information, for your identification information, not a chance. It's a bad, bad, bad idea. Probably shouldn't do it. I'm just throwing it out there. And if you do it, don't say you weren't warned. All right. That brings up another point. Thoughts on digital surveillance of our everyday movements. If I'm understanding the story correctly, and again, I didn't read the full, I didn't like fully dive into it so I could fully digest it. But if I understand it, I'm pretty sure digital surveillance is already happening. And maybe they're just really like putting it in our face now saying, hey, this is what's happening and we're doing it. I don't think it's like a new thing. Everyone's like, what? I can't believe digital surveillance. Pretty sure like there's the traffic cameras all over. Like it's like we've already lost that. So I mean, maybe move to the country. I don't know. You don't like digital surveillance, and don't get me wrong. I think digital surveillance sucks. Um, I understand the desire for it, I guess, but whatever. I think it sucks. This feels like a bit of my right has gone on that one. I don't know. A little right to privacy. Walk down the street. I don't need somebody looking at me going, "What are you doing? What are you doing?" Yeah. See, it's weird. All right. Okay. Um, somebody retiring in their. What do you want to do when you retire? Let's go with that route. What do you want to do when you retire? I would like to retire with enough time to. I mean, really, it's and I don't want to work. I certainly don't want to work like I work now. Not even a tiny little bit. I would really think I would like to go fishing, camping. I'd like to own an RV and travel around the U.S. I wouldn't mind owning an RV and traveling across foreign countries. I think that would be fun too, or renting one for a month and doing that. I think that would be phenomenal. I think that's probably what I'm going to end up doing. Um, and I say I, but that's me and my wife. I think that's probably, I hope, what we would like to do. I hope what we're going to do. I'll pick up hobbies, I'm sure. Um, or maybe I'll just, again, golf, fish. Yeah, I like that. Golfing is always fun. I don't know. Anyways, okay. What else we got? Oh, okay. Here's what I was going to tell you on my way back. Yeah, no, you know what? I'll wait to talk about that. Hopefully, I don't delete it. So, all right, digital surveillance. Okay, rate increases. You guys get those notices about rate increases for fill in the blank utility, whether it's electric, water, sewage, whatever, your cell phone. Okay, yeah, your cell phone. Even if you guys don't own a home, if you rent, you know about this. If you have a cell phone, you know about this. They'll be like, "Oh yeah, a little rate increase. It's okay. We're gonna vote on it, and it's fine. It's gonna help you. Just agree to pay more taxes." That's all I think about every time is you guys are just blowing smoke up our ass. Sorry to say it like that, but that's what it feels like. You guys are just, man, I don't like that. I really add more and more taxes every year on to pay for our services to do what? Does anybody see their better water? Don't we all still have hard water here? I have not seen an improvement on that. I haven't seen an improvement on my electricity. Yeah, I don't know. I certainly have not seen an improvement on my phone coverage. Oh well, we're improving it every year. Yes, I know you are. You guys keep saying that. You're gonna just keep doing what you do. It's fine. I mean, really, what are you gonna do? You're gonna go to the meetings and complain about it, and they're still gonna pass it anyways. Probably so. So what's the point? That's you have to accept it or you don't. Well, if you guys hear the interview with Will, I let him know I was watching a show called Mr. Robot. It's probably like 10 years old from, I don't know, FX, USA, fill in the blank, one of those cable networks. And it was called Mr. Robot. And I was like, this is good. Yeah, I'm really enjoying this. And I got to like episode 5 and I was done. I was like, yep, that's enough for me. Thanks. So I stopped watching that. You guys have any good call outs on shows I should watch? They can be older too. I don't mind. If I've watched them, great. If I haven't, maybe I'll watch them. I'd really appreciate that. Do you guys binge watch shows? I used to. I used to try to binge watch shows, but normally it's like one or two a week. That's kind of how it goes. So yeah. All right. I think I'm going to stop it there. I really appreciate for all of you who listen. Um, yeah, there's a lot of people I want to talk to. I have a new AC guy, and I think I'm going to have him come on. He was a fun guy to talk to, and he looks like Matt Damon, so that's fun too. It's kind of the same sound and everything. It's kind of weird. I don't know, like a Matt Damon Tom Brady thing. Oh, anyways, and hopefully I have my friend Katie coming on, so hopefully she'll be coming up. And yeah, I got some good episodes coming up. It'll be fun, and hopefully I can get my sound fixed with Will, so you guys can hear that one. That was a really good one. Again, thank you to all my guests that have come on up to this point, and hopefully I can continue bringing you guys some decent interviews, some really good interviews with really all of you interesting people, because I think you guys are all fascinating, and I thank you all for listening. So, cheers, thanks.